Hey, thanks for watching a new video blog. Now before we continue, I make a short statement that I filed a report against Slender for the statement that I had swapped or mixed sperm with another donor Leon. I've never done that. It's a blatant lie and Netflix will have to remove it or I will make a legal case. And yeah, they money. Today I'm going to review the first part of the documentary The Man with 1000 Kids, which is about me. I yesterday saw the first episode of the documentary and I start with the good things. It was well done, I must say, quite good filming. The quality is very high, very well filmed. You can see that they spent a budget on the documentary. It looks high quality and I can appreciate that. It doesn't look trashy or cheap or like anything. They have this approach of making it like almost like cinema quality. So I appreciate that. A quality filmed movie. But now we have to talk about other things. It's all fine when it's nicely recorded and stuff, but I cannot say that I'm really impressed by much of it. They did a sort of okay timeline of like how things happened, but I'm already like sort of secondhand embarrassed that they just had like 6 people in it. I've helped 225 families, and why are there so few families taking part in the documentary? That's a very good question. From the 6 characters that we see, Eve Wiley, who is the mastermind behind this documentary, she has no child with me, she has nothing to do with me, she's from the United States, I don't know her, so bye, you know, why are you there? Then we have Patricia. She has no baby from me. I've known her a little bit back then, 2010, 9? I don't remember it, a long time ago. And then the rest of the families, Netherlands, single mom Netherlands, single mom Netherlands, and another family Netherlands, and then Australian couple. So, just so few people that they managed to take part in the documentary. It's really strange, but it says something about people not willing to sell out their story and maybe being portrayed as, you know, ungrateful. First impression from the, because I'm doing a general, I'm not going too deep into details directly. My impression is that, you know, some characters, they appear like sympathetic, like Nicolette. I think that she's quite like balanced. She's the most balanced of all the ladies. She will tell not only like, oh, he has this curly hair, but she will also tell like, well, I like that he had some musical talent, he was caring, and he was a teacher, he was friendly. That's I appreciate, because in this life everything is already about appearances and nobody cares anymore about the soul and the character of people. So first part is mostly just, it might be a bit boring because I know the people, I know their story. So for me, nothing interesting. They represent themselves the best they can, I guess. You know, English is not that great of some of them, but I have nothing really to add to most of them. Now, to me, most of it is super boring because I know that, you know, how to what they do in insemination, and oh, you have to be. So for me, it's not really interesting. I started to be listening when we came to the part of the clinics. Now, this guy, the doctor, I remember him. He was the one that like introduced me. I personally don't remember him asking explicitly if I donated somewhere else. And now people will say like, you're lying, you never told the truth. And that's not true. Because I also went to Groningen, UMCG. There they would ask me if I was a donor before. They would ask me very strictly. They would really, that's what I remember, and that's why I say, yes, I've been a donor before. So then they say, sorry, you cannot help us. Bye bye. Fine. So, yeah, like I say, I don't remember the conversation, but I remember really if they would have asked me, I would have said, I've already helped there. But it seemed to be not really a problem in those days. I have to tell you that at that time there were basically no sperm banks. There's only 6 sperm banks in the Netherlands because most have closed. There were maybe over 40 before the donors' anonymity was abolished. Because the abolishment, many men just gave up donating. Say, you know, if I have to give my identity, if I meet with his children, I'm not going to do that. I'm not willing to do that. So they all closed so many clinics. So at that time, they weren't really concerned. They wanted to, of course, run the clinic, have donors. They were super happy with my help. And if it was really such a big problem, then why not make a database? It's so simple. Just every week you make a call to all the clinics. There were only 6. Hey, no, they didn't do it. So I think that they, like in between, like, okay, we don't know what you know, it was a different time back then. I understand it, and donors would donate regionally, and they could donate regionally. I read that in the paper. I was reading that there was no harm in donors donating at multiple clinics, because before the anonymity was abolished, it was common practice, because it was anonymous. There was not really any keeping records or tracking records. It's strange because the anonymity was abolished and suddenly they start to say, no, 25 children per donor in whole Netherlands. But before it was regionally. So, okay. Now I had no harm, of course, in donating. Because that's what you see in this first part, is they try to portray me like, what kind of guy is he? Yeah, he's a bit weird, he eats raw meat, yeah, he is willing to help us. I come to the conclusion that the general narrative of the whole documentary is betrayal. A man betrays women. That's the core of the narrative. Because if I come with reason and not emotion, because the narrative is based on emotion, if I come with reason, that I say, well, look, it was like this, and I was really wanting to help, I was super enthusiastic, but there was no harm, there was no law that said you cannot donate in more clinics. There were guidelines. And these guidelines have been very vague over the years. And if there was so strict about it, why didn't they make then a record? Clinics amongst each other. And I know as a fact that there were many donors that were also in different clinics. It was common practice. And it's fine. We don't have the luxury that we can just like limit the amount of offspring for those. That's so strict, because so many people will not have a baby. And that is the whole narrative that I'm seeing. They're focusing on the man betraying women. That's like, because it's a more female documentary. It has a feminine feel. It's not masculine. They chose to go for the feminine vibe. I think that they exaggerate my appearance. Like, he was so charming and handsome, and oh, he knew all the right things to say. Look, I know the way I look. Okay, my hair is maybe above average, but I'm happy with the way I look. But I'm not Brad Pitt or anything. You know, I don't have the charm that girls are just falling for me or something. So they really went for this like doctor's romance, like we have these books. I don't know if they have this in other countries too, but they're like romantic books where the doctor like seduces the assistant and stuff. And they really go for this vibe. Like, the first part is there to warm you up about me. Oh, he speaks multiple languages, he has musical talent, he's a bit weird, but he's also caring and friendly. And in a way, it is right. But they will twist it in a very weird way afterwards. And I think that many people see through this narrative. Because when I come with reason, then you will see that there's not really much left of this narrative. That I am not a man that was impressing the women. I was myself. You can see what they say. He had weird videos on YouTube. I wasn't doing anything to appeal to anybody. I wasn't like trying to impress them. So I think that that's important to see, that the narrative is man betrays women. And like I say, I try to reason about things like, hey, I'm not an exception. There are donors from the big sperm banks. They go up into the hundreds, maybe thousands of times. It's common practice. I am not special in that regard. So instead of going from the storyline, like a guy is helping voluntarily people, just to help people, because he feels good to help people, makes him feel good, makes other people feel good, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's not doing anything wrong. It's common practice. If the parents would go to the clinic, they would have paid thousands of euros, have to wait, get a lower quality of sperm sample of a donor. They would not have the identity directly of, or they could get it later. So I was offering the highest quality, the best offer they could give for free. And I didn't do anything wrong. Because I kept the guidelines of the clinics. And that is, a donor is not obligated to share how much times he has helped parents. It's none of the parents' business. And you might say, no, clinics will not tell it. It means that they draw a line. You can know certain things about the donor, but not everything. And the amount of times that he's helped is not something parents should know. Because the next thing, and that is what happened to me, when you start to say, well, I helped 20 times, then they start to ask, hey, but where did you help? Did you help in Amsterdam? Or did you help maybe in Haarlem, where we are living? Tell me, who did you help in Haarlem? And next thing they will be demanding, well, you can help, but you cannot help this family, or you cannot help that kind of people. We don't want them to do that. They start to control you as a donor. And I already said it before, if they wanted exclusivity, they could go to a sperm bank, Cryos, pay 10,000 euros, and they will lock the donor. Then you have exclusivity. Your donor is exclusive for you. So basically what I was offering was the best there is. I am one of the best donors. My donor children, of all donor children, have the best donor father. Because their parents didn't have to pay anything for me. It was free, just to cover the travel expenses. I got them fresh sperm, which is the best, super quality. It's also better. Frozen sperm is really not that good for your DNA. Then I was directly available, no waiting lists. Bam, directly. I came to the parents. I travel hours and hours to the parents. They didn't even have to stress to travel. I came to them. How nice is that? Then secondly, they could ask me anything about my upbringing, about my interests, about my character. So they take away this part where they see, well, this guy, he sacrifices 50,000 hours of his life traveling to parents, helping them selflessly, not doing it for have so many babies, because if I wanted to have so many babies, I would go to the clinic directly and donate it, and my sperm got shipped all over the world. Well, eventually I went also to the clinic. But that would be the easiest way. I really put in every part of your life. And I take it very serious. So I see all the comments and I'm thankful that so many people understand it. They say, you're a good man, you did nothing wrong, we love you. And finally, the Brazilians are like amazing. Guys, I love you. You're like the best people on the planet. So yeah, that was my first impression of the first part is quite positive. There are some mean things, some lies. They chose only a few people. They couldn't have like a lot of people. They didn't ask people that are super happy because it has to be about men deceiving women. So apparently all the other parents didn't feel deceived, didn't feel scammed, didn't feel betrayed. And you can see that my intentions are also clear. Because I'm not a rich guy. But I could be rich if I would have taken part in the documentary. They would have offered me lots of money. But I'm not doing that. I want to stay humble. I want to do my own story. I think it's important. Because no Netflix company, no Curious Films will ever know what it is to be a donor. I am a donor for 17 years now. It's a daily job basically, or it is full-time, and it's not something for such a tabloid documentary. It's not really good quality in my opinion. The filming is good quality, but the story, and yeah, shows to me that what I already expected. They had put out this big search before they had the documentary. They post in all Facebook groups in all countries. Do you know this donor? Blah blah blah. Well, apparently they didn't find anybody, and because I already stopped in 2019 with donating, and apparently, yeah, nobody wanted or could be found. So you can see that they exaggerate everything, and yeah, they in this first part they had a little bit of this Eve Wiley character. I will go into her deeper later, but yeah, for now this is my first impression of the first part. It's not really that impressive. It's not really like starting off. And anyway, that was my first response to the video of the documentary, the first part of the documentary. I will come later into, I'm going to take details out of it, but that's just my general impression of the first part. So that was for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.